You're listening to Dude! Check This Out, Episode 7! Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the show. We are Kevin and Noah.
I'm Kevin.
And this is, hey buddy, look at this. That's it, right?
Yeah, I think it's, hey man, we're looking at something. Or is it, hey chum, this is neat.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Or, like, hey friend, look it over here.
Hello, pal. This is a thing I would like for you to see.
I enjoyed it. Maybe you as well.
I think we're on to something. It's one of those. We'll have to check our Twitter.
Well, until then, this is Dude, Check This Out.
Hey.
There it is, everybody. Yeah, so like I said, I'm Noah Stewart. I'm here with my good friend Kevin Land.
That's him.
Well, that's you.
Yes.
The second one. Mm-hmm. The first one was me.
Yes.
Confusing our audience right off the bat.
If they made it this far.
Yeah.
I mean, if they've made it this far, they should know who we are.
They're
right?
here for this quality content.
Quality
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's bad. My phone just went off.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna turn that off. So yeah, we're here. We got a little bit of a different setup today.
Yeah.
We're usually doing it at your place.
Yeah, my apartment.
Yeah, but we are at my place today. We're at my parents' house, hanging out in my room. It's a little hot. Turned off the fan because of the noise.
It is a little hot.
But we're on a 2-mic setup today.
We finally did it.
Hopefully it doesn't sound too weird.
No.
It's still a mystery whether or not this will sound good or not.
Yeah, we have no idea. But I told Noah I was going to do this, and I couldn't help myself. But now's the best time. 2 mics is the best, literally because I can do this.
Hello. You can hear me now. We can be really close to each other through, like your headphones and stuff. You know what I mean? And that way I can be all the way over here. I do not have to
watch me get
really close to my microphone. Get real personal with our microphone. Get real personal with our audience.
Oh yeah. See, I knew I was gonna do that, so I'm just glad I got it out of my system. We're good. We made it. We don't have to do it anymore.
We're there.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
It's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, Noah's room looks like he's got all this like tech setup. It looks like a real podcaster, where in my room or my apartment is literally like just a computer. That's it.
I mean, I just set this up like this year. I've got my MacBook. I've got my computer monitor with my Windows desktop PC.
Yeah, but you got like a TV monitor.
Yeah, and I also got my MacBook hooked up to my TV monitor, which is helpful.
It's pretty rad. Yeah. I'm a fan.
But yeah, nice new setup. Very exciting show. Lots of energy. We got some nice weather out.
Yeah,
lately.
it's finally cold-ish. Yeah. Colder. It's like a solid like 68 degrees outside. So it's
Texas winter.
Yeah, there it is.
Speaking of winter, I think this should actually be our Christmas show. I did math. If we're keeping up with our release schedule.
Oh, this is the Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah. This should be coming out on the 20th, I think, of December.
Really?
Yeah. So this will be like 5 days before Christmas.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're in the holiday spirits, because you know I am.
And if we miss our release targeting, then Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
But yeah.
I forgot that we're in the future right now.
Right?
We are in the future.
We're not talking live to our audience. We're not talking straight into people's heads.
Yeah, I hope I like my Christmas presents, or I hope I got all my Christmas shopping done.
Yeah, it's another thing.
Yeah, I got to do that.
Yeah.
Or I've already done it.
Yes, because it's the future.
It is the future. Good stuff. I'm glad you brought that up.
Exciting show today. As well get to jump right in here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Today we are talking. So we've done our previous episodes. The last like 3 or 4 things we've done have been really good quality things, but they've kind of been downers.
Yeah,
a little dark.
They've been with
dreary.
Essex County.
Yeah, Essex
and,
County.
Your Lie in April.
Yeah, Your Lie in April. Very like super bright, but also just super demanding on your emotions.
Yeah, like Alice Isn't Dead and American Football.
Yeah,
None of them have been
American
like
Football.
happy things.
Yeah, a lot of like very introspective personal experiences. That's not the case for this week. The case for this week, we are talking about one of my favorite movies. I've been watching it for a long time. Not necessarily all at the same time, usually in bits and pieces, catching it on TV, but it is one of my favorite monster movies, coming out in 1990, directed by Ron Underwood. We are talking about Tremors. Yeah, so Tremors, awesome monster movie, 1990. It stars Kevin Bacon and
My namesake.
yes. Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
No, probably not.
Your parents were just like super into Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah, they loved Footloose, man. They
Footloose,
just loved
pretty
Footloose.
great. God, what's the other person's name? Kevin Bacon. It's the main.
The girl or the other?
No, the other guy.
The guy that played what's his name? Not
Yeah.
Al or Edward. Al.
Well, his name's Earl. The character's
that
name
guy,
is Earl.
I was close.
This
I only watched the movie
Wikipedia
twice. Like
Page really wants to look at Reba McEntire. Okay.
it's not. Yeah, because the girl was what Finn, I think was her name.
Fred Ward. Fred Ward is
That's
the
the
other
guy.
guy. Starring Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Finn Carter. Michael Gross is in there too.
Yeah. And also the guy, the Asian guy.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Victor Wong.
Yeah, he was the teacher Asian guy in Three Ninjas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually seen Three Ninjas.
I remember
I'm familiar.
kind of seeing them as a kid, but not enough to really remember anything.
Well, you see, what I remember him from is he is from what do you call it? Big Trouble in Little
Yeah,
China.
I also need to see that.
Oh, you haven't seen
Big
Big Trouble?
Maybe that's the next thing you can.
That's
give me.
got to be That's got to be soon.
Yeah, I mean, we could just watch it.
Yeah, we could.
We'll
we
just
could
do
just
that.
watch it. It's amazing. But yeah, starring all those fantastic people. It is a awesome like schlocky monster movie. Kind of at the time was definitely going for like a 50s era kind of like monster schlock. Mm-hmm. Good old monster schlock. It's about giant desert worms attacking a little small town of people. Starring characters Valentine McKee, played by Kevin Bacon, and Earl Bassett, played by Fred Ward. I don't know, should we just give a little plot summary?
Yeah,
real
sure.
quick?
Yeah. You want me to do it, or you want to do it? I feel like you know the plot probably better than I do.
Trade off a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
We'll just tag team it.
So Val and Earl, two down home country boys. They're handymen for this small town, and it's like small little desert town out in the middle of nowhere. And they just decide that they do not want to put up with, the problems of the small town. They're tired of getting stepped on, feel like they're, nobodies. So they're going to try and hoof it out of town. Well, when they try to get out of town, they notice that some people start like winding up dead.
Yeah.
And so like they think it's like serial killers.
Yeah,
So they're just like, oh no, we got to go back and warn the town. And then they try to drive out of town, but notice like
only road out of town is blocked.
yeah, by like a landfall or a landslide. So they go back into town, but before that, their truck gets like caught on something, and they try to drive away, and they finally do. And then when they get back into town, they notice there's this huge, giant, gross tentacle attached to their truck.
Yeah, snake thing.
Yeah, and they think, oh, that's weird and gross. Maybe that's what's been killing everyone. This like gross like little worm thing.
Yeah, and it's like, if it's like, think of like a boa constrictor, but like bigger and fatter, but not as long. About that size. So it's not like enormous. It's like, like maybe like a foot like diameter.
Yeah.
So it's a big snake, but
Like
it's
a
not
big,
like huge.
Not necessarily anaconda, but maybe like a wild python or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then they hop on some horses.
Yeah.
They try to ride out of town because they can't use the regular roads. Try and get some help. But along the way, turns out it's not those weird little worm thingies. It's not just the little weird worm thingies. It's a gigantic sandworm that comes up and eats their horses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they jump on a rock. And, they also come into contact with, what's her name? Rhonda.
Rhonda, yeah.
Rhonda, played by Finn Carter. She is a collegiate scholar, geologist. She came to the small town to do some research and finds herself in this little predicament.
Yep.
They all scuttle up onto a rock where the worm's trying to get them, and they realize that the worms can track their movements by vibration.
Yeah.
So then the delightful scene where they pole vault across all the rocks, try to get back to town. They get there and then bring the worms with them, unfortunately, because the worms track them back to the town. They start attacking the town. Everything gets all bad. What happened after that?
So they're back in the town, and they all the worms end up showing back up at the town. So they all have to get up on the roofs. So they're all on their roofs now. And while they're on the roofs, there is a guy named Bert.
Yes, Bert and his wife, played by Reba McEntire.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. And so they are I guess for our equivalent now, for then it was the Cold War.
Yeah.
And so, because it was in 1990, right at the end of the Cold War. And now I guess it would be the nuclear holocaust is about to happen. So the people that have their own bunkers.
Yeah.
And are
doomsday preppers.
Yeah, those people. And so the sandworms come and attack. And so they try to fight the sandworms and they can't. So they get up on the roofs and they're like, oh, we don't know what to do. Bert shows up. They're like, Bert, come and save us. And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because they're on these radios. And then he ends up shooting a sandworm in the mouth face with an elephant gun.
The mouth face.
It's like his face, but it opens up like a mouth. It's a mouth face.
Face doubles as its mouth.
Yeah. And so then the sandworms eat all the cars.
Yeah. Because they're smart.
Yeah.
They know they use them for transportation.
I guess. So they eat all their cars, and they end up getting onto a cat, so a giant bulldozer.
Yeah.
And they take a bulldozer with this big trailer, pick up everybody, and head out to the mountains, because the mountains are made of granite, and you're safe there because the sandworms can only go through dirt, not rock. And then the sandworms dig a trench, and
they set a trap for the cat. They set a trap
for the cat, and so then they get stuck on rocks again, and then they use homemade bombs to kill all the sandworms, lead one so it falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then...
Which is an excellent climax to that movie.
Yeah, and then it's over, and Valentine, played by Kevin Bacon, ends up making out with the college student.
Yeah, he kisses that pretty lady.
Yeah, and the movie ends. And I guess it's implied that they fall in love. I don't know.
I don't think it was really too concerned with that.
Yeah, there was definitely a plot in there about, and that was that whole romantic tension, but it's not really important. There isn't a lot of really important things in this movie.
I mean, I feel like that wasn't really a top priority concern for this movie was the romantic subplot.
No.
It was mostly about huge, gross looking worms.
Yeah, with a lot of gunky goo.
Yeah.
I like the gross goo.
So yeah, speaking of impressions on the movie, what's your hot take?
All right.
What'd you think of Tremors?
So I'll give you, I watched it twice.
Okay.
With most movies, I watched it twice. So I watch it, I normally, because I did the same thing with Akira. I watch it one time just to get my feel. Just first impressions, not really thinking about it, just watch the movie. Mm-hmm. And then second time to kind of think about it a little bit more and try to get some, I don't know, impressions or get what I think the movie's trying to get across, maybe. I'm not sure. kind of my first impression. The movie really hit that fine line between like just serious enough to take it seriously, but also just ridiculously silly. You know, like with most good silly things, the silly thing has to take itself seriously, because if it's laughing at itself, then it kind of breaks the whole illusion.
Yeah.
And so
you can't try too hard.
Yeah, so Tremors really takes it, at least the first time I watched it, I felt that it was taking itself like really seriously, which made it really funny to watch these, like, because Kevin Bacon even at the time was like a highly acclaimed actor.
Oh yeah, he was a huge deal at the time. And there's actually on the Wikipedia page, I looked this up on just a couple minutes before we did this show. Apparently he like felt super down about being in this movie. He thought it was like a career low.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, but then the movie came out and it was received well, so pretty good about that.
And so the first time I saw it, I thought, like, I wasn't sure if the directors and the production team and that kind of stuff were trying to make a serious monster movie and just like really miss the mark in like the most glorious way, or if they really intended for that kind of movie, right? The like, silly monster movie.
Yeah, like just kind of like exploitative schlocky kind of B movie.
Yeah. And you can have a highly acclaimed, really great movie that has a B movie plot and feel.
Yeah.
And because that could be, you can still have a really good movie that way. And so that was kind of my impression, that it really walked that fine line very well of, hey, we're really trying to be serious, but we are either messing up just perfectly for you to have a really, really good time, or we know that that's what you want and we're going to aim for that, but we're going to pretend and look like we're being really serious. So I don't know what how it was marketed or how it was sold. If it was sold as like a kind of a goofy, hey, like, remember these type of movies where people thought they were scary, let's all kind of have a good time with that. Or if the direction and production was like, hey, like, no, this is a serious, scary monster movie. And so I don't know. Either way, it's great. I just don't know which one.
I want to say that, like, at least in the marketing, it seemed like they were pretty, like, they were in on the joke. Yeah. Like, if you look at the poster for it, it definitely, like, it's like mocking Jaws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's got like the sandworm, like on a side profile coming up out of the ground with, like, Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward and Finn. What's her face? Finn Carter.
Yeah.
All just like stand there. But yeah, I feel like it was definitely like they were going for a like, creature, flick kind of, tone for it.
Yeah. So that, I guess that's what I mean, that it was a good movie and it walked that fine line really, really well. And so, yeah, I guess they were probably in on the joke, which makes it that then it's like, that's still great, just because like the end result, either way, if they weren't sure, they were sure of what kind of movie they wanted to make, it's fine because the end result is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought the movie was really funny, and also just the perfect kind of goofy.
Excellent. What do you think of the characters?
So
think of Val and Earl?
Yeah, I think, man, the first 3 scenes with Val and Earl. Normally in movies, you want to like establish what kind of protagonist you have. Like be like, oh, like, we wanted to make our characters likable, want the audience to identify with them, relate to them, and make sure that they are on their side. Like, it's the first, in most movies you want to make, so like, let's say in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Yeah. You're introduced to Star-Lord as a little kid going through this like horrible thing, and then he gets abducted by aliens. So you're immediately like, oh man, I really feel for this kid. And then he goes off and he's this big giant goofball kind of like silly guy dancing and do whatever, and like, oh wow, I really like this character. You're already rooting for him because you know his background and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
In this movie, the first thing you see is Kevin Bacon peeing into a canyon. And then he immediately turns around and scratches his butt. Like, those are like the first 2 things you see of him. And that's it. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, man, I really like Kevin Bacon in this movie. Look at him being like a podunk cowboy guy, I guess. I don't know.
He's a salt of the earth kind of guy.
Yeah, I guess.
Working man.
Yeah, and then in the next scene, they're like driving to go find then they go stumble upon Rhonda, the girl, and he goes through this like horrible list of like exactly his ideal woman, and I was like, man, are we supposed to like this character? Because I kind of don't.
Not at that moment.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
he's
think.
kind of the worst. I just thought that was like, I watched some videos and like looked at stuff about, you know, like movie production and editing and all that stuff, and like, you know, the first like 5 to 10 minutes of your movie is where you have to get your audience to be like, this is the world we're in, like we need you to be invested, like those are like critical. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna be peeing into a canyon and like talking about this stuff, and I was like, what is going on?
But I feel like that sets the tone for the movie
really
pretty well.
Yeah,
actually.
but yeah, so that's what I mean by like that kind of movie that it is that it's like, I kept just going like, wait, is this what I'm really gonna get into? Like, okay, like I guess I'm on board, but what, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, Val and Earl, I really liked their kind of bromance relationship that they had going on. Yeah, they solved everything with rock, paper, scissors.
That's always the best. Their rock, paper, scissors moments. The fact that Earl always has a plan.
They clasp hands all the time.
Yeah.
They do it like 6 or 8 times in the movie. They're like, oh, good idea, man. And he sticks out his hand like Vikings, like, yo, let's clasp hands. I'm like, all right, like,
Blood brothers.
yeah.
Catch you later, Chang. We got a schedule to keep.
Oh, yeah. See, we plan ahead. That way we don't do anything right now. Earl, explain it to me.
That's good.
Yeah, I really like them. Yeah, really big fan of even some of, you know, the Doomsday Prepper characters.
Oh, yeah.
I really like Walter Chang.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Walter Chang's awesome.
Yeah, I really hated, what's his name?
The teenager kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah, Melvin. His name's Melvin. I hated Melvin. I mean, I guess I hated Melvin in the best way.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to hate
Yeah,
that
I
character.
hate it. And he didn't even die.
Yeah.
I wanted him to die
he's a teenager.
so bad. Exactly. I
Yeah,
guess.
you can't kill kids.
Yeah. I guess he's
I mean,
too
I guess
young
with
to
the way
kill.
this movie is,
Yeah, I guess he
yeah.
was too young to kill.
Because
I'm
would've
thinking
been
of like
cool.
Friday the 13th, right? They murder everybody.
Oh yeah, but
that's a horror movie,
Yeah.
not a monster movie. It's okay. Why not like?
Yeah, that movie, the body count definitely, you know, rises in that movie. The only people that kill in this movie
It's just the first
is,
3 people to raise the stakes, and then the stakes are raised, and that's it.
Yeah, or also that
Oh, no, they
they're
kill,
just like throwaway characters.
Yeah.
like, you don't even get to know them.
Yeah, they also kill what's his name, Nelson.
Nestor.
Nestor.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he also didn't really do anything.
yeah, but he died in a great way. He was
Sucked
like
through the tire.
Well, because he was on like his mobile home, and it had like a big like antenna on the top of it. I actually got like Jaws vibes. That like at the end of Jaws when they're like on the boat and like the whole boat's sinking and he's like hanging on the mast as Jaws is coming for him.
Yeah.
That's the name of the shark, Jaws. Didn't know.
Is it?
I don't think it actually is. But
What'd you say? No, I didn't hear you.
I don't think it actually is.
Oh, I was joking
I
as
don't
if
think
you.
Jaws is actually the name of the shark.
It's pretty fun,
I
right?
think, yeah. Yeah. How's everyone doing? Getting real personal with you. Real close.
Man, people are gonna hate us. No one's gonna listen to this. They're gonna hear that and just turn it off.
They want to hear how close we can get. Oh, yeah. Open their ears. We shouldn't do this.
I'm having a good time.
Oh, man.
Sorry about that. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Nestor, yeah, he was on top of his mobile home. And then, yeah, he falls off and he's like lands like butt first into a tire and then gets sucked through the tire into the ground. And the camera just kind of like crawls away.
Yeah.
But that was probably one of the most entertaining, like, I guess, kills in the movie.
Yeah. That so I don't know. I just really wanted Melvin to die. Is that bad? That's probably bad.
I don't know. I mean, he is a very annoying character. I did really like though when they were on like when they got out of town on the cat and then they were stranded on that rock again, and they had to like make a run for it to where were they trying to run? They were trying to run
Just to a big rock.
Yeah, to
And,
oh yeah, from the cat to
and
the
Bert
big
gives
rock.
him the gun that's not loaded.
Yeah, he gives him like a revolt, like Melvin's like, I'm not running. We're gonna die before we get there. And Bert's like, well, how about I give you this and make you feel better? And he's just like, yeah. And they're running, and like Melvin's out in front, and they see the worm coming, and he points the gun and fires, but it's just a click. And he's just like, Bert, you asshole! That was. Yeah, I feel like Melvin kind of got his comeuppance there.
Man, Melvin
in
was
an okay way.
He was like, I hope I was not like that as a teenager. I don't know. I probably was.
I mean, I assume we were.
Man, he was the worst.
I assume we were.
Yeah, he
But-
was just. Oh, I hated him so much. Yeah, but I also really actually liked Rhonda as a character.
Yeah, Rhonda was cool.
Rhonda was super cool. Also,
super capable, super smart.
yeah, actually like the one that knows what's going on.
Yeah.
So I thought like, you know, with now probably way more back than it was back then, that women in media and in movies, they're really trying to, we all should be, and we are trying to, you know, get women to where they should be in movies with roles they should be, and not to be so belittled or not important or whatever, you know, all that good stuff. But Rhonda was actually like a terrific female character that had like a whole like personality and was not just some prize to be won, but actually like not committed, participated. Nope, not the word. Contributed. There we go. Yeah, contributed to what was going on, and they wouldn't have gotten to where they were without her. Like she was actually like a critical part of the team. Like specifically, like one of the scenes is when they start to pole vault, they kind of even poke fun at it a little bit, where Earl and Val are like trying to figure out this plan of how they're gonna get off the rock.
Trying to make the plan.
Yeah, and she's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go.
Have a plan.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just gonna go grab this thing and start pole vaulting and just like do it.
Like she even like is trying to tell them like, hey, we like, how about we just grab these poles and go? But they're like keep talking over her.
Yeah.
And then she just like finally like she backs up and is about to run and goes, hey guys, you ever been pole vaulting? And then just goes for it. And they're just like, oh yeah, no, let's do that.
Yeah. I really liked her as a character, and I thought she was super cute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just thought, you know, that maybe that's shallow. I don't know. I thought she was super cute. She had like
pretty lady.
Yeah, like really beautiful eyes, really nice hair. Thought she was cute. I was like, oh yeah, like sure, she could be my protagonist. Like she's really cool. I'm on board. Yeah, I thought Rhonda was like super cool, and even at the very end, she didn't just like throw herself at Val as, you know, because he's the protagonist or the hero of the story or whatever. She like
running into his arms or whatever.
Yeah, like she obviously like wanted there to be something.
Yeah.
But when he didn't approach her, she was like, all right, I guess this like I'll just keep doing my job. Like, you know, life goes on. I'll be fine. And then, you know,
to do.
Yeah, and I mean they ended up making out at the end because it's a good story or whatever. But I appreciated that it wasn't just like, oh, thank goodness you saved me, and then like throws herself at him. So good on Rhonda, man. She was
hell yeah.
She's cool. She was a good character, and I liked how she had sunscreen on her nose in the first scene.
Oh, yeah,
really relatable.
It was really like didn't realize that she had it on as she was meeting Val and Earl for the first time.
Yeah,
it was just ew.
Yeah. But also I was like, hey, I do that. Yeah, you and me. This is cool. So I was a fan. So yeah, the characters were really relatable. A few of them were kind of caricatures a little bit, like specifically Bert.
Bert, yeah.
Yeah, Bert. And I guess also Melvin, but Melvin was just the worst. I hated him.
I mean, yeah, he was, you know, typical, like at that time would have been like just coming out of the 80s, like bratty 80s, you know, teenager character. I did really like though when I think like when everyone gets like up on the roof, like and Melvin's on top of the roof and someone does something really cool and he just goes, y'all right, dude. Just like, yes, Melvin.
Because it's right when so I was gonna bring that up as one of my favorite parts. And so it's right when Bert he shoots one of them in the face with the elephant gun and kills it.
That's right.
And they get over the radio and it goes to like each person being like excited, and Melvin goes, yeah, that's great, dudes, or whatever he says, which is hilarious. And then Nelson is like pumping his hat really, really hard, going, all right. It was so good. That was one of the points where I literally just like straight up like laughed really hard right then.
Yeah.
That was so good. That, and then another part about, speaking of Melvin, when they're trying to, they need to distract the sand monsters so they can go run to the cat. Mm-hmm. And someone like, so then Earl goes to Melvin's like, hey, you want to earn a quick buck? And Melvin like flips him the bird and is like, oh yeah, eat it. And I don't know. So YouTube definitely, I was watching it on YouTube.
Oh, me too, yeah.
And when I watched it on YouTube, they definitely edited some of it to change the words to make it, I think, PG-13. Because they only used the F word once. Yeah. In the movie. And they said mother humper instead of the actual word that they were supposed to use like 2 or 3 times over the radio. that was like very obviously edited over, unless they actually say Mother Humper in the movie, which I highly doubt.
I feel like that meets the tone of this movie, though.
Maybe.
Mother Humper.
I don't know. It was, and I watched it in like the HD. I don't know if it was a remake or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But it definitely, there was like, when he's like saying like, yeah, right, dudes, and stuff, there's a few points where like what they were saying in the audio didn't really seem to line up, and it gave it like this super old, like, oh, this is obviously an old movie feel, just because it wasn't like, because now movies are like really, really in sync and look really, really good. So watching like an old movie from 1990 really gave it this like really goofy, silly feel. So it was a good time. Watched it twice.
Nice. Yeah, I guess that's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tremors is great. I like all the characters, all the actors. I don't know. I keep thinking about this. Reba McEntire, man. What a great person.
Great performance.
Great
really.
performance from Reba McEntire. Most people know Reba McEntire from her being a country western star. I knew her from that one time she had a sitcom, and I was 8 years old at the time and would just watch whatever my parents had on TV, and whatever was on TV was her sitcom titled Reba.
Yep.
So I think I had seen the sitcom before I actually saw the movie, before I saw Tremors, and just thought it was really weird seeing like, oh, hey, it's that lady from the funny sitcom, and she's got a shotgun.
Yeah.
Strange.
She was awesome.
Well, she's got gentle hands and the heart of a survivor. So
straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Tremors. It's good. It's good stuff, man. It is good stuff.
Single mom who works too hard, who loves her kids, who never stops, with gentle hands and the heart of a fighter. I'm a survivor.
So what were some of your favorite moments?
Yeah. Okay. So favorite moments. Things that, well, I guess one of my favorite moments was the goo, just all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Like when it goes
they
on.
always comment about how bad it would smell.
Yeah. So there's that time where they're like, it's on the car for the very first time that you actually like kind of see them alive. And like that lady, the doctor's wife or whatever, is in the car, and like just whenever the monster guy like goes onto the car, there's just slime everywhere, just like slimy on the car.
Or like anytime any of the like little tentacles touch anything, you see like gross slime tendrils coming off of whatever it touches. Speaking of that scene though, of the scene with the doctor and his wife, the old couple, like that is tonally such a kind of weird moment for that movie, because that scene is dark. Like they're like moving into town, they're building their house to like, you know, spend the rest of their lives there, and then like the doctor's wife sees her husband get sucked into the ground while trying to hang on to his hand and fails. And then she gets in the car and the car sinks into the ground.
Yeah. Well, that movie like really escalates really quickly.
Yeah.
Like so fast. Because it starts off, you know, everything's fine. Then they find the guy, the old dude, like hanging up, like died of dehydration.
Oh yeah, that's right.
The thing, I'm like, okay, like, oh, that's a dead body. That's pretty scary. Then they find like the decapitated head of a guy that's like freaking out. I'm like, oh man, like that's really kind of messed up. And then I think is the guys that go and like get smushed to goo.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That because they got smushed by the landfall.
Yeah. So then there's like brain goo on the ground. And then those two people get sucked into the earth in this like really personal moment. And I was like, man, this movie is like, they're like, okay, like it went from like 0 to 20 to 60 to 80 to 100, like just like really fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just wanted to get to the sandworms. So they're just like, all right, let's get to the sandworms.
And the sandworm effects were like really cool. I like the way they did them. With like you can like, as if the ground were water, you could see like the ground just kind of like reshaping as the worms like run through the ground.
Yeah.
And that's actually a like thing, like the effects look like it's all practical effects. It looks really cool. That's actually kind of a thing that's kind of a bummer about like cinema these days, is like this is very much a B movie. Like this movie wasn't trying to be like, you know, a like, you know, tour de force, you know, get all the Oscars, whatever kind of thing. It was just trying to be a fun movie, but it had a budget, you know? Like I feel like all movies coming out these days are like just going for like as much as possible, try to get, as much money as possible with all the, special effects and everything. And those movies are good. Those movies are great. That's fine. It's just, especially like now, there's either like huge, $1 billion budget movies, and then there's like small little indie movies.
Yeah.
There's no in between like there used to be.
Yeah.
There's no really any place for a movie like Tremors to exist today, where it could, just kind of be fun and not too flashy, but still have a budget to have like crazy practical effects like this.
Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of sad. I guess that's just how like the media's kind of developed and evolved.
Yeah. Well, companies don't want to take big risks like they used to.
Yeah. But the practical effects were really awesome, and I just loved how they're just slime and goo. Like when the guy like runs its face into the concrete and kills itself.
Yeah. And then like the concrete like splits open, you see the little worm tendril just kind of bleh.
And then there's just like a bunch of gunk that falls
Yeah.
out. I was like, yeah, heck yeah, gunk, dude, I'm a fan. So I was a big fan of all the goo and practical effects.
There's also that really gross part where they blow up the second to last worm when they're all on the rock, and it eats the dynamite, and it blows up, and like all the gore just kind of rains on everyone.
And it's like a gross yellow color.
Yeah, and then it like pans back and you see like just the exploded worm corpse in the crater.
Yeah.
That was also, speaking of that scene, when after they kill that one, and then the last worm that's left is like the really smart one, and then it eats like they tie some dynamite to a rope and like try fishing for the worms, because the worms can feel their vibrations and motion through the ground. So it goes up and swallows the dynamite, and they're like, yeah, we got him. And then it spits the dynamite back up into the air, and they're like, oh no. And they run away, and the dynamite lands on their stockpile of dynamite. And then there's like 18 explosions.
Yeah. Yeah. So the second time I watched it, I guess they kind of foreshadowed that, because the one that kills the doctor and the wife spits up the generator.
Oh, right.
So I guess if you were a really savvy moviegoer, you could be like, oh no, it's going to spit up the dynamite, and kind of predict it. And then you would have this cool payoff of like, oh, I knew that they could do that.
Right.
But I only saw that because I watched it back to back in like 2 days.
Yeah. Also, I'm not thinking that hard.
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm
No,
watching
I don't think so
Tremors.
either. But yeah, so like all that gooey practical effect stuff I thought was awesome. I don't know if YouTube really changed it from like what it should have, what I thought it would have been, to Mother Humpers, but I really liked that they said Mother Humpers like 3 or 4 times. It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon has a killer cowboy walk.
Oh yeah, no, his posture and everything.
Oh, it's so good.
Just like the way he like, puts his hands on his hips and just kind of, walks around.
Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 moments specifically that I remember being like, what a goofy, silly cowboy walk. Like when he's walking up to like climb the tower to go see the dead guy. He like saunters up like so good, man. Kevin Bacon freaking killed it.
Man.
Yeah. When he punches that snake in the face, so they pole vault onto the car. So they're like doing the pole vaulting thing, right?
Yeah.
They pole vault onto the truck, and so the same monster now moving the truck, and so Rhonda like goes head first into it and is like pushing the accelerator with her hand and like driving her truck like with her legs sticking out the back window. And while that's going on, Kevin Bacon punches one in the face. I'm like, yeah, just do that more. We should just be punching snakes. Oh, it was so good. And they don't make a big deal about it, but I just really like that he punched one of the snake tongues in the face.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I don't know why that reminded me, but just like some of the great lines in that movie.
Oh, there's so
one
many.
of the ones that like weirdly, it was kind of just like a one-off, or like just like kind of a throwaway line. It wasn't even supposed to be like the center of a scene or whatever. But when they're all back in town and Earl and Val are about to leave, and Walter comes up, the convenience store owner comes up and he goes, "Here, Earl, here's some Swiss cheese and bullets." Killed me when I was watching that.
That's so good. Yeah, I didn't even really think about it, but now that you just pointed out, he does say here's some Swiss cheese and bullets. And like, he's like, oh yeah, thanks, I'm gonna need that. It's like totally like, oh yeah, of course,
Natural.
Yeah, those things pair together really well. So good.
Oh my gosh.
When Bert and his wife, the sand monster punches into their safe house.
Oh yeah.
And so they start shooting it, and they run out with their things, and so they throw their guns down, and then it pans to their wall of guns.
Yeah.
And there's just like 50 guns just on their wall.
They'll just grab one, unload,
And then
throw
just-
it away, and grab another one.
Oh man, I just remember them panning to that and me going like, "Oh no, here we go."
Here we go.
Yes.
And then like Bert runs over to his glass case holding the elephant
elephant
shotgun.
So good. Yeah, the point where he kills it, and then and they pan from person to person, and Melvin's like, "Way to go, dudes!" And then Nelson's like, "All right!" And he's like pumping his hat so hard. It was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole movie, just because like that moment really encapsulated what Tremors was all about.
Yeah.
That was the moment.
It's about fighting giant sandworms and just really satisfying moments.
Yeah. Also, I have one question. This was one of the moments to me that really seemed to stick out. So Rhonda is running, and she like gets on the ground and then trips over barbed wire.
Right.
And then she rolls off and gets caught up in the barbed wire. And then Kevin Bacon makes her take off her pants.
Yeah.
Is that necessary?
That was a strange.
That was just not.
scene. That was just like an obviously like, we got a pretty lady here. We got to get her to take off her pants kind of scene.
I did not see the point of that or why that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Because I could understand like, oh, they want some like physical intimacy between, Kevin Bacon and Finn, whatever her name is.
Finn Carter.
Yeah, Finn Carter. So, Val and Rhonda need to start making this romance, this budding romance. So this will be a way that he is cleaning her legs while she's not wearing pants, and they have that moment of like, oh, maybe we have feelings for each other. And so like I could see that was the point of doing all of that. They could have definitely done that without her taking off her pants, right? I don't know. That moment for me really was a little jarring and weird. And maybe it's just because it was like 1990, so it was a different time than it is now.
Yeah, to me, I was just kind of watching it, and that happened. And I was just kind of like, okay, movie. Like,
Yeah.
calm down.
Yeah. I mean, and I can't say that because now we have like, it's not that women are much more classy now than they were back then. But for that moment of his like, quick, take off your pants. And I was like, wait, what? There has like, don't you have clippers? Like just, like you can like,
you're
cut.
a handyman.
Yeah, like you should
have like a tool or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, no, you need to take off your pants. I was like, what the heck, movie? So that wasn't one of my favorite moments, but it was definitely one that I like scratched my head the most afterwards. And there's a lot. I mean, it was Tremors, so that's kind of impressive that moment was the one that made me scratch my head and be like, what the heck? Like, why are you doing this?
Jeez.
Yeah, and so there's only one. Since it was, I guess, rated PG-13, or they wanted it to be, they can only say the F word once. And when they say it is amazing. So they say it right after they kill the first one. So they're running away from it, and they jump into that concrete thing, and it smashes into it and dies. And then Kevin Bacon, I'm going to say it. So, Mom, I would never say this, all right, Mom? I would not say this word. But he goes, she goes, fuck you! And I was like, oh, Kevin Bacon, of course you would say that.
Super satisfying moment of triumph.
It was so funny. I loved it. And so I always try to look for the one time they can say it. Because in PG-13 movies, they're going to say it once. So whenever they say it, they're really trying to emphasize a point.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty great time to say it
What
in
a great
Tremors.
moment.
Oh, it was so funny. I loved that moment.
Stupid son of a bitch. Knocked itself cold.
Called my ass. He's dead. We killed him. We killed it. Fuck you!
Hey guys, what's going on?
So, the soundtrack. The soundtrack, it had this like really silly, like banjo harmonica thing going on.
There's a lot of that in the trailer.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen
The trailer definitely sets the tone for that movie.
It was like super silly, like podunk hillbilly kind of deal that they bring back like once or twice when they're like doing something really great, like in the pole vaulting scene.
Oh,
they
yeah.
like bring back that real hard. so that really kind of brought out this sense of like goofiness, or like, oh hey, this is small town USA, like we're goofy and silly over here. At least how it made me feel. And then compared to horror movies now, which I don't watch a lot of, so I guess I should say compared to suspense movies now, or like moments of high pressure in other movies, it's a lot more of like
well, I think that has a lot to do with like, you know, Hans Zimmer is like the hot name in movie soundtracks these days, and his style is a lot of like, yeah, that blah, and you know, just like very like kind of, you know, setting the tone, like not with like a melody, but you know, just like, you know, dreary, you know, kind of dense soundtracks like that.
Yeah, and this movie does not have that. In the spooky, scary suspense moments, it's a lot of horns and like a flute stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so it, to me, I mean, I don't watch movies that much. I'm not like this big movie stuff. Yeah. But it kind of, to me, it seemed to date the movie or make it seem older than a, you know, a current movie would be. And because of that, it made it just a little goofier, just a little sillier.
Yeah.
Just because I guess I've been so cultured to be those like big, heavy overtones is what brings, oh, that's supposed to be suspense. Where this movie was like, oh, look at this, like, oh, aren't you scared? And I'm like, no, you're just showing like dirt like falling off of a little canyon. Like, I'm not scared of that. So the soundtrack kind of boosted that idea of like really goofiness, silliness, that I thought the movie kind of, I guess, was going for. Hopefully they were going for that, because that's what they got.
I can only assume they were.
Yeah, so that's all I had.
Nice. Well, so that was Tremors.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty silly, pretty great.
So I'm glad you liked it.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you showed it to me.
Yeah.
Well, pardon me, but you've had my attention ever since you strolled into the room. Believe me that it's not my intention if I appear to come on too smooth.
But now for next time, what do you got?
All right.
What do you got for me?
So, keeping with the theme of happy, fun, kind of goofy things.
All right.
I'm
like
going to
those
give
things.
you a band to listen to.
Music, all right.
Yeah, specifically one album. This band is called Unleash the Archers.
Excuse?
Unleash the Archers.
Okay.
They are
I can only imagine what kind of music that is.
This is a Canadian power metal band.
Hell yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So we have a friend, Patrick, who loves power metal and has been getting me into it a lot.
Up, baby?
Yeah. Hey, Pat. I know you're listening.
And I love you.
But it is a Canadian power metal band led by the face woman or the lead singer. Her name is Brittany Hayes, and they're from Victoria.
Huh.
Yeah, and they're amazing.
Neat.
And so, disclaimer for anyone who is about to go listen to power metal. Power metal is inherently silly.
Yes.
Like, it is...
Think Dragon Force.
Yeah. It is so goofy. There's kind of a layer of, like, cheese on everything. Just because that's how it's supposed to be. It's really great.
Making this sound really good now.
Yeah. So, you know, they sing about, like, dragons and fire and whatever, swords and
Wizards
destiny and
yeah.
So the album I'm going to give you is called Apex. It came out in 2017. It's really great. And so it is a concept album.
Okay.
Yeah. So the concept is, I'll give you a brief rundown, not too much, so you can really get the story. And let me look over my script here. The concept is about an immortal who sleeps under a mountain, and he is bound to the will of whoever wakes him up. So whoever knows the ritual to wake him up, he is bound to their will and he has to do what they say. And so he wakes up and he goes to find his new master, and the master finds him and sends him on a task, and he has to do this task that his new master tells him what to do. So that's what the album is about.
That sounds super great.
Yeah, it's going to be...
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's really
I've
silly.
been looking for some good power metal lately.
Oh, well, great. So for those who want to go listen to this, just know that they are aware of how silly it is, but it's also pretty awesome. And it's the kind of deal of, you know, we know it's awesome, you know it's awesome, we all know it's kind of silly, but we're just going to, like, commit to this because we think it's really great. So as long as you go in with that kind of mindset, it's really, really awesome. And so last thing, if you're going to watch it or you're going to listen to it, there are 2 YouTube videos that you should watch with it.
Music videos?
Yeah.
All right.
So the first song is called Awakening. And if you watch that music video, it's like them in their studio playing, which is really, really cool. You kind of get to know the band and that kind of stuff and see them. Watch that first.
Okay.
And then the biggest song on their album is called Cleanse the Bloodlines.
That's a title.
And they're like dressed up and there's this big fire and it's amazing. And it really, really shows just how committed they are to this song and to this idea, and it's so much better if you watch it. So please, like, you can listen to the album first, but I would say if you're going to listen to Cleanse the Bloodlines for the first time, watch the YouTube video.
Just really get the whole experience.
Oh, it's so worth it. I watch it all the time. Well, not all the time, but probably about like
I'm watching it right now. I can't stop watching it. Somebody help, please.
But I probably watch it about 3 times a week.
Sweet.
It's awesome. So
right.
Apex by Unleash the Archers.
All right.
Check it out.
Super excited. All right, we'll be doing that next episode, but for this episode, we are done.
Yeah.
This is the end of the episode. All right.
We made it.
But a great time had by all, at least by me and Kevin. We hope y'all had a great time too.
I hope you liked it.
I hope you had a really great time.
I had a great time.
I think you're having a great time right now. Just the best time.
The best time.
Okay, enough of that. Anyways, thank you everybody. We will see you later. This has been Kevin and Noah. Dude, check this out. And we will see you next time. Bye,
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Or Happy New Year.
Whichever one.
Whichever one comes first.
Well, Christmas comes first.
Well, that's true. Whichever one this ends up ending on.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Perfect.
Awesome.
We did it.
We did it.
I hope you like this band.
I'm super excited.
Man, we should not have whispered that much in that episode.
But we did.
But we did.
And it was
Oh, yeah. You guys like it, don't you?
oh my God. A little too much.
Let's not put that in.
Oh, I'm putting it in.
I know you are.